Hey guys, how are you? And we are ready to do another DIY, and this one's for fall. I was, at work I saw, and when I was shopping in another Hobby Lobby, they had a white pumpkin, and it was ceramic if I remember right. And it had, and if I remember I'll put a picture, because I took a picture of it deliberately for an example, because I wasn't sure if I was going to buy it or if I was going to just make one to kind of give me the feel of what I wanted without having to buy it. Because sometimes, yes, I will buy something that I really like, even if I replicate it or try to the best of my ability, or just buy it or go ahead and make it. Well, this one I thought, you know what, I'm going to try to make it, but I really liked it. So if you know what I'm talking about, it's in the fall section of Hobby Lobby with the other decorative pieces. So what I did is I just took one of my pumpkins from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to turn it over, because as you know, sometimes I leave the original in case I want to use it. And if I don't, eventually I'll just, you know, scrape down the glitter and do whatever. But for this purpose, what I did is I took tissue paper, the kind of tissue paper that you put into bags for gifts, and I smoothed it out. Well, I just put it on this because it's not going to hurt it, but I put it on something that was a little bit more substantial, so when I put it through the printer, it wouldn't wad up and jam. So I just taped it, and I taped it with not regular tape because it'll rip it, but Scotch has a matte finish. It's removable tape, or you can use painter's tape. That usually doesn't stick either. So I just taped around the edges, and then I put my printer to mirror image. In other words, I was putting it backwards, so when I turn it over, okay, because the ink is on here, when I turn it over, it'll be the right side up. Because I had one way where I wanted to put wax over this and then just use my heat gun, but I don't know if it would work, and I don't want to ruin this print. I may go ahead and just do it the regular way by turning it around and Mod Podging it on. But before I do that, I want to paint the pumpkin. So what I'm going to do is I just am taking this Craft Smart paint. This is from Hobby Lobby, and this is parchment. So it's not white, it's more of an ivory. Actually, it looks pretty much the color of that pumpkin. Just going to paint this. And I'm not going to keep you on here while I do this. And then I'll probably shade it, but I'll be back once this is painted. Okay, I'm going to take my embossing tool, and I use this sometimes to hurry the process up as far as the paint drying. You don't want to get it too close, and you want to keep moving it around, because you might crack the paint, you know what I mean? And that's not what you're looking for. Well, maybe it is what you're looking for. If it is, then put it close. But I just want to get this dry so I can do the second coat, so then we can kind of shade it a little bit. Okay, so I have the pumpkin painted and it's dried, and now I'm taking the print off of this piece of paper, and I'm trying to decide which way I want to go with this. I don't know if I want to... If I put Mod Podge down here, I'm afraid it's going to smear when the ink hits it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to Mod Podge the top of it. This is how it was, remember? Now I'm turning it over, and now it is right side up. Side where I want it. And I think there's two ways I could go with this. I could either just Mod Podge it on, or I could take a piece of wax paper and use the heat gun and melt it onto it. Only thing is, I'm not sure how it would respond with the wood, so I think I'm going to just Mod Podge it. Take off as much as I can of the tissue paper, okay? And then, you know, just kind of cut around it, kind of fussy cut it a little bit, just around the edges, and then I'll be back. I'm going to get my brush and the Mod Podge and hope for the best. Because I don't want it to move on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of this tape, the removable tape, and just a tiny little piece. And if it takes the paint off, it's not a big deal. I can, you know, fix that. My primary concern is getting this on there first. Okay, here it goes. And I'm not going to mess with it too much because I don't want it to come up in any way. But the tissue paper will almost kind of meld into the wood. So I'm going to finish this and then I'll be back when I start embellishing. Okay. So it's pretty well dried, but what I'm going to do now, because this is a little too ivory, I'm going to put some white over it. And this, I just have some wicker white that I've had for a long time. I'm basically going to dry brush it on. And then I can finish embellishing it. But I just want a little bit of white. Because I'm going to be putting, okay, what I've done is I want to shade this, but I don't want to shade it what I normally shade it with would be a brown and antiquing. I'm going to mix a little bit of white and black to get me my gray. And I took the metal leaf off of the other side of this pumpkin and I'm going to put it here because I am going to embellish with black and white, and my curlicues are going to be out of this wire ribbon. So what I'm going to do right now is get the, I don't know if you can see this or not, let me bring it over here. Can you see? Yeah. I'm going to mix this up and get the shade of gray I want. And that's too dark, I can already tell. Yeah, that's better. I'm not going to need much because I'm just really going around the edges. Brown to me just wouldn't look right since what I'm using as far as ribbon and all. I'm going to wet this a little bit. It's just going to be a very faint bit of gray. Hardly anything. I don't know if you can see that or not. But I'm going to go around the whole pumpkin and then I'll be back. Okay, so what I've done is I went in and I shaded it with some gray, and then I took my Sharpie and I just went around with little stitch marks. And when I used to do toll painting, I used to do this a lot with my paintings. It's just something, I mean, everyone did. But anyway, it kind of frames the shape. And then I just painted the stem, and now I'm going to put on the finishing touches, which is a little bit of the curlicues. I'm going to get my glue gun set up, and I'm going to just make a bow for this and put this back on, and we'll be done. Okay, So I cut some of my ribbon that I wanted. And like I've said before, and I don't say this lightly, I am not a bow maker. Never have been, never will be. I just do not do good bows, so I just fake it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to loop this, okay? And I don't want it really long that way. So I'm just bringing these loops just out a little bit each time, a little bit more than the last. Okay. Then I'm going to pinch it together. And I'm just going to use a little bit of the wire that I'm going to use my curly cues with. And I'll just tighten it with that. And then I'm going to add some more thinner. And I think I want to use a little bit of raffia because I think it would look cute with this. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to cut this off, add a little bit more ribbon to this, and before I put it together I'll bring you back. Okay, so what I did, like you saw, I just looped this, and this has got wire, which is great because it's very forgiving. And it makes you look like you kind of know what you're doing and you really don't. Well, for me, I don't. But anyway, so I want to put in the middle some raffia. And I just took a hunk of it and made it into a bow. So I'm going to use that in the middle. Because I just want different textures. And raffia reminds me of, obviously, fall. Okay, so I'm going to put that right in the middle. Hold that there for a minute. Ha 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 ha. Oh, hate when I burn my finger. You know, I burnt my fingers so much that at this point, it doesn't take long before it doesn't hurt anymore because they're so calloused. And to that, we hide the recipe, you know. And what is going on there? I think I'm going to do it right there. So I'm just going to hold that down for a minute. And then I'm just going to take this little thing that I looped up. Okay, and then I want to add this leaf back, but I might put it like here. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. Even though it's on the bow, I don't care. That's where I like it. Then I'm going to put a couple of these black autumn leaves. They're really Halloween, but I'm going to use them for this. It came from 99-cent store a couple years ago. Bring it up here a little bit more so you can see it a little bit better. And I like doing florals in 3, so I'm going to cut this one. I'm going to bring that down here. Okay. Okay, so there that is so far. And now I want to do a couple of curly cues. Maybe add, okay, curly cues to put, we used to do this a lot too with toll painting. And it was called country. It wasn't farmhouse. It was country, but it was basically the same thing. Then you just take it off, and you have your curly Q. And you can open it up if you want to make it a little wider. So I'm going to glue one here. Once I get this all done, I'll come back. Okay, it is done, and I'm very happy with it. Here's all our curly Qs made out of the wire, our different ribbons that we've used to put in with this bow. Here is the middle leaf that was originally on this. The tissue paper that I went ahead and printed this recipe. And like I said, I will insert a picture of what it looked like at Hobby Lobby. And this is my take on it. Guys, I hope that you will use your Dollar Tree, 99-cent store, whatever, wherever you get your pumpkins, or making it yourself, and embellish them sometimes in a way that a store has them and maybe you don't want to pay the money for it. And just make it your own. Okay, I just wanted to bring you up close so you could see the finished work of what I did on this Dollar Tree pumpkin. And I did end up putting the little black pumpkin onto this, although this will be for my fall decor, not Halloween. But I am happy with it, and it serves its purpose, in which I would have used the one I would have bought, which I didn't, so I saved myself, I think, $20. And this is just as good. And like I said, I'll put up the picture so you can see what the one looked like at Hobby Lobby. But anyway, this is what it looks like. Just some ribbon and something that I just printed out on Google, and your Dollar Tree pumpkin, and you can make your own. Guys, remember, the world's a better place because you're in it. Don't ever, ever forget that. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.